The new West Bar development, my understanding it's £80 million development, and it'll create 8,000 new jobs. That's what they're anticipating. That's looking down Corporation Street, taking you onto the inner ring road. This area is just completely transformed from when I worked back here in 2000. But what I'm struggling is, if they're going to create 8,000 more jobs around, I think there's going to be a multi-storey car park just up here on the left hand side, if you can just see it. There's the old Pennine Centre. I'll just zoom in a bit there. It's actually 13 stories at the front, and then it's 7 or 8 stories behind. And the old Pennine Centre, where Midland Bank was originally located in Griffin House, and then HSBC took them over, held about 2,000 staff there. But there's also other staff in there to do with the government as well. Well, that's barely full now. So there's actually 2,000 people could be employed in that building, but they're going to build another number of offices and whatever down here to create 8,000 more jobs. So what's going off? You've got to ask about Chinese investment in Britain, and why are Sheffield City Council cozying up so much to China or Chinese investment. What's going to happen is we're going to see China implode, and their rich and elite are going to make sure they've got out of China first. But my big concern about all of this is they're building on industrial land, or what was once industrial land. And I think as a country we need to go back and balance service sector versus manufacturing. Because if China crashes, where are we going to get all our goods from? And what we're doing is we're building on our old industrial land, and it makes it impossible then to bring your manufacturing back. So we're snookered. But the other thing is, the more and more people we bring into the country. I mean, I thought it was fantastic when the Berlin Wall fell down, but then since then, how many million Eastern Europeans have we coming to the UK? And what's going to happen is, if China implodes, how many Chinese are going to come across here? The country's actually at breaking point. Forget the 68 million people they claim that's come in the country or live in the country. I think it's more like 80 million, because that's what the food industry estimated it at, 80 million people living in Britain. So where are we going to actually farm? Because the more people that come into the UK, the more of our farming land's going to get took over as people leave the cities because of the immigration into the cities, and they'll be moving out into the countryside, and then that'll be more houses in the countryside. So really you've got to look at what's going off. Now the Tories actually promised they'd reduce immigration to about 50 to 100,000 before they got in power 12 years ago, and we're now at absolute maximum levels now. We're at the highest rate of net migration to the UK, I think, ever. It's 500,000 plus. So the Tories have betrayed us. Now, don't think the Labour Party would have been any different. The Labour Party would have opened the floodgates to migration even more if they got half a chance. But if you look down here, that tower is part of some development called Soho Yard and Soho Gardens. So that's either going to be flats or offices. Like I said, I don't think we need them, because we're not filling up what we've already got, and we need to move back to a more manufacturing based economy. So I think people should have realised when we were locked down and we had a problem with getting goods in, they should have realised that we've got this over reliance on Chinese goods. Now, I can't understand why it's called Soho. I don't think this area was Soho, and it's not going with a Sheffield name, which is really disappointing. I think the Soho bit's coming from London, This is what I think. I could be wrong. If you can confirm that this area was once called Soho, which I doubt very much. Anyway, my question to you is, find out all about Chinese investment in Sheffield, what their links are to Sheffield City Council and what's going off. It's not on. Sheffield City Council should represent the people of Sheffield, which they're not doing. They're representing the globalists, and it's about time Sheffield City Council started representing the people again.